My journey started a few years ago in New York City, where I grew up, went to school, and started my corporate career. I worked for Exxon Corporation, 3 internships while in college, and then upon graduation permanently. And just had a wonderful time moving around this large corporation in Rockefeller Center and down on Wall Street. Found myself selling Exxon's line of technology products to businesses in the Wall Street area. And so I was having the time of my life. I was Mary Tyler Moore, throwing my hat up in the air and spinning around and just loving life. And then Exxon decided they were going to sell that division that I was working in. Now remember, I did 3 internships through school and only worked for Exxon Corporation after school. And now I was faced for the first time ever with potentially life without Exxon. And it was a little nerve-wracking. But by that time, I had truly ascended the total ranks of the sales organization. I was managing my customers, my budget, my schedule, my business. And so I decided that the next logical step for me would be to venture out on my own and start my first business. I say first now, looking back 36 years, because it was the first of about 6 companies that I had founded and or acquired, right? I sold some, I closed some didn't work. It was for a certain period of time, but I also acquired 2. And in this company that I'm running now, I acquired a spinoff from Bank of America in 2008. They wanted to know whether I wanted to get into the leasing business, the equipment leasing business for large corporations. And upon review and counsel, I decided, sure, I'd like to do that. And so I acquired this spinoff, and immediately, like within the first 6 months, we realized that we were in the greatest economic recession of all time. And there was no coming out anytime soon. And so that wasn't the start that I had envisioned on my vision board, right? And so, just like other times prior to that, had to figure out what was going to be my next move. And like many people, you're faced with pivotal points along your journey where you have to make a decision. You can't just coast, you can't just ride along with the wave. You've got to make a decision. So when I decided not to go back into corporate Exxon, but rather to go out into the world of entrepreneurship in 1985, that was a clear-cut decision that I made with lots of prayer and thoughts and views and crying and counsel and all of that. And now here again was another one of those pivotal moments. And I decided I was going to persist. Yes, we're going down into this deep hole from which we're going to have to little by little climb up out of. But that's the life of an entrepreneur. And that wasn't the first time that happened. It happened in 2001 on 9/11 when I lost 30% of my business that day, no notice, when we were attacked on U.S. soil. It happened years before that when WorldCom filed the largest corporate bankruptcy in U.S. history. And we were 6 months into a big project with them, spending money every day on this New York State project. And so just when I look back and think back, I think about those pivotal moments that, didn't kill me, and so therefore made me stronger. You learn through all of those exercises. You test your faith, because what's the point of building up all this faith in a lifetime of service if you never get a chance to exercise it, right? And so I decided to lean on my Lord and my faith to get me through that, and a lot of help from other people along the way. But it's been an incredible journey like this. And then we started doing this. And in 2017, we were named the 3rd fastest growing women-owned company in the country. And so it's just an amazing journey, one that I have no regrets about. Sure, I would do things differently, knowing now what I knew back then, but I can tell you that I have been totally fulfilled for 35 years. No looking back. It's funny, I laugh at myself because in the beginning of going out on my own, which was a big risk, but I remember I was a salesperson and I took a risk in just getting into sales. But I think back about what I used to tell myself. We have this self-talk going on all the time. I told myself, if this doesn't work, I can get a job. I am very marketable. I can sell anything. And so that's what my self-talk track was for probably the first 10 or 15 years after starting my first firm. I got a fallback plan. That's why I learned how to type in high school, because I can always type for a living too at 100 words a minute. But you just prepare as well as you can. And then you have to be adaptable and flexible. You can't just have this game face, one way is my way and the only way idea set. You have to roll with the punches, read the tea leaves, see who's in your corner, who can you call on for help when you need it. And that is the life of an entrepreneur. And I feel so blessed that I've been able to do that and to live that for 36 years. Just do it. Prepare yourself as best you can. Do your research. Understand what it is you're selling, because it's not even that. It's what problem are you solving, right? There's nothing new under the sun. There's nothing new. Innovation today is typically taking something in existence and making it better, not necessarily coming up with the next great thing. And so what problem exists today, and there's been so many that have been born from this pandemic, just how we work. In fact, I've heard it said that we don't go to work anymore. We live at work, because for those of us like me whose lines blur between work and life, it's all one. And oftentimes what I have found during this period is we are working harder, we are working longer. So what kinds of services and or products can we utilize because of those things? Because we are living at work now. We're not going to work anymore. And so this, like all previous situations and bad times and seemingly down times, have spawned such a big crop of new businesses. Doing things a little differently, offering services for those of us who are feeling closed in by our four walls. Hence my palm trees outside that I can turn and look at whenever I want to remind myself that I don't have to be, closed into four walls. Even in the middle of February, I can waltz outside, I can walk, I can run, I can play golf, I can swim, I can do all of those things. So it's important to understand what my needs are today, as a business owner who now works at home, because I never worked from home before. And so I would say, go for it. There are things that are needed today that were never needed before. How can your set of skills and passions and purpose and hard, fast ideas make life easier for others, right? And how will you launch that idea, product, service? How will you scale it? So these are the things that you have to consider before entering the marketplace. How will you fund it? How will you fund the launch? How will you fund the growth, right? And so just be studious, be diligent, do your homework, understand the market, where the niche opportunities are that have been created from this pandemic. But bottom line, go for it. What's the downside of going for it? Yes, it's going to take you outside your comfort zone. No successful entrepreneur has ever gotten there from living in their comfort zone. Growth happens outside your zip code. Go on out there and seize the day. Seize the opportunity, because who knows, that particular thing that you're trying to do, you may be the only one with that insight based on your experiences and your background and your culture. And that's why diversity, I know I'm changing the subject, but that's why diversity is so critical, because it informs innovation. Think about all of us bringing our diverse thoughts and ideas and upbringing to the table to either solve a problem, design a new solution, something. And the fact that it's being done with this myriad of voices and experiences means that it's going to be more creative, more innovative, and more successful than if it was designed in a vacuum within a homogeneous group of people who look the same, feel the same, act the same, and have the same set of experiences. That's not the way innovation happens. And so just go do it. Find somebody who you can take along that journey also. If that's one thing I would do differently, looking back, is that I would not have gone on this journey alone. I would have found a couple of people with similar passions, but different sets of skills that we could have combined and moved on out there in a more defined and cohesive way. It's not to say that going it alone doesn't work. I'm a living example that it does. I'm a sole owner, have been pretty much all my life in this business, but I have also seen examples of how people have come together and gone out and had access to different things because there were different people at the table. So go do it. And if you can do it with someone else, even better.
If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment below, and share. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more inspiring content.